I'm taking a look at the number 260. Super excited because this particular Keycult has like a special place in my heart, the number 2 series. It was actually one of the very first high-end raffles, the number 265, that I actually won. Won the ability to purchase it, not won it for free. I was never able to get anything back in the day. I always had to buy it like aftermarket, so I have distinct memories of the feeling of what it felt like to win one of the slots for the raffle. This is back when Keycult was just Keycult. This time here, Keycult is ran under Novel Keys. So Novel Keys will be producing this project. First one we're going to look at, this was by my request, because this was also somewhat the same color as technically my first Keycult ever. My first one was white and red. We have the number 260 in silver and red. It is so pretty. By the way, I do work for Novel Keys. They are going to be running this. It's bias. We're just looking today. If I do find problems, I will tell Mike, because I want this to be a good project, right? Gorgeous. This is all aluminum. It does have some heft to it, though. I think this is a rather thick piece of aluminum on the bottom, if it's anything like the other number 2 construction. So the one that I actually think, when I saw the color for this, I was like, dude. This is the more expensive one, though. I'm not keeping this particular one. This is going to be shifted around to some people to look at. The stone and stainless. This color is very much my thing. It is so pretty. I'm not going to build the stone today. I want to build the aluminum one because that's the one where I think the pricing is a lot nicer. We'll build this next week. A 265 in this color would be nice. A 265 in this would be cool, but I was thinking today, because I've never seen the number 2 as a 60%. I don't know if this is completely new. I actually kind of prefer the number 2 series as 60. Like when I was really like, I have a number 265 as well, but like I kind of like the layout and thickness of the bezels and just everything as a 60% more than I like it as a 65. Like, you know when a board just clicks? To me, that's what this felt like today. I looked at it and I'm like, this just clicks. Like, it looks nicer as a 60. So there's different levels depending on what you want. There's like E-coated ones, and then there's just the fully aluminum anodized ones. Price point for this particular unit is $375. And then the stone and stainless one is around $685. And then if you want a black and brass one, which I think is the more reasonable out of all like the higher end materials, you're looking at $550. So this one here, it does have a bit of a premium. It is a very large chunk of stainless, but this is $375 for this one here. $375 is a steal. Compared to what normal Keycult stuff goes for, I actually think $375 is good for a Keycult. $375 is a bit, for all aluminum, is a bit tough, not gonna lie. Most Keycults over the years, and this is not to justify or deny pricing, has always been starting off with all aluminum. So I would actually say, for the Keycult namesake, this is in line, if not cheaper, than some of the other Keycults that have been all aluminum. Keep in mind, there are tons of 60s out there that are cheaper. So if this aesthetic doesn't really like hit home for you, and maybe the material choices don't hit home, there's always other boards. But yeah, compared to general keyboards, yeah, I mean, it's lately there's definitely been a lot of like cheaper versions of 60s, for sure. $375 for a Keycult is pretty crazy low based on past pricing, yeah. And that's kind of where I'm gonna keep it at. Just because, again, like, I'm not saying that, like, you know, like when we're looking at boards, is this machining and this thing worth your money? You know what, probably you can find better choices that will have a, you know, slimmer price point to it and will serve you just fine. But if you like the Keycult brand, if you like the way the Keycults look, Keycults do have a bit of history, then I think it's always cool. I like the way Keycults look. They've always held a special place in my heart. So yes, $375 will be for the solder PCB and a plate. I want to like convince the team to offer stone with a different bottom that isn't stainless. I don't personally love shiny surfaces. Some people do, but this would be so cool with like a different color on the bottom. I love the way this color looks, dude. Black bottom on that? Dude, a black bottom on this would be cool. I gotta ask Mike if it's possible. Last minute choice. I don't know if it is. Does this have any quality of life updates since the new number 2? I don't have any of that info, but what I can tell you is we're gonna build it up. and I will let you know if it feels like it does. I'm kind of going into this half blind as well. I only know the pricing, that's it. And I know it's releasing soon. Which I kind of like going into this kind of half blind. It makes for a better review. They do come with color matched plates, by the way. Which is always a joy to see. Like, it has a slight texture to it, but my God, this is such a pretty color. I legitimately think this is one of the prettiest colors that I've seen on a keyboard in a hot minute. I love this tone, dude. That's why I'm saying, like, if Mike can offer this as one of, like, the mid-tier or even entry-level Keycult number 2s as well, like, I'm for it, dude. This color is beautiful. All right, PCB hot swap compatibility, fantastic. We get literally everything on this, which is actually refreshing to see that we get like a 6.25U on this as well. Okay, let's put these in. Hello? What's going on here? One of the screws is not unscrewing. We're gonna see which screw's the culprit here. It's all three of these ones at the bottom. What the hell? Okay, so daughter board. Let's just put this on the bag for now. Oh wait, no, I need to put the screws in first. Is this one of the newer NK Keycults? Quality is fantastic on these. I cannot complain. I've yet to see any sort of like quality indicator that makes these terrible. The Keycult building experience truly cracks me up. Hey, I've always been vocal about the number 2 series. It's not a fun build experience. It's a little daunting and a little annoying. Now the second best part is trying to get the cable aligned. I might have to use a small piece of tape here, but we'll see. I wish there was like a little clamp in the back over here that kind of just like you can push in the cable so it can sit straight. Sometimes depending on how the cable's twirled or whatever, you can just like press it on nicely, but actually I got it right there. We're good. Be very careful if you guys do end up buying one of these boards. Don't press up against the top frame when you're screwing these pieces in. What films are you using for the MX2As? These are just some... I think for this particular one, these are Duroc, because I found a batch of Durocs. I lubed these in the morning. The red plate and red bottom, nice touch. I always like that kind of small detail of having a matching plate. I don't always love brighter colored plates because sometimes they peek through, but I think in this case here it works. Actually, I really like this set on this. Yeah, dude, this looks good. Oh, I think this is going to be a permanent home for this. Now, there's a reason why I'm using cherry switches. It's because last time, on my personal 265, I actually didn't like cherry switches. I'm curious if this will change my mind a little bit. Maybe just because I've done them a bit differently. Let's see how this sounds. So MX2As with a 63.5 gram spring. Keycult 260. The enter's okay on this. Maybe this is where the long pulls really shine. I really like this. Actually, it does sound a bit... Maybe, again, because this is a smaller form factor, this sounds a bit fuller than the 265 did. No, that sounds good. The backspace is whatever. Maybe I have to tune the stab here. Maybe for the backspace I can hear a bit of ticking. That's a stab thing. The enter's okay. The left shift's good though. Let me tune the backspace and the enter. Maybe that's what's causing this to be not like my absolute fave sound profile wise. Helps a little bit. Still a little bit of like an emptier enter key here. Not my favorite enter key. Alphas sound really good though. Spacebar's really nice. Left shift's really nice. I think this board looks better as a 60% though. I'm really hard stuck on this fact. And I own a 265 and I actually prefer this over the 65. Damn, actually this turned out great. I'm really happy with this. And then this is the new finish for the number 260. I know I said this last time. This is a lovely, lovely finish. It has a slightly different texture. I don't know exactly the method of what was applied to this, but Mike had mentioned that this was, I think, one of the same finishes from the Seneca, or he was inspired by the finish on the Seneca. I don't know if it was done by the same people, but holy crap, this has like a really nice like feel to it. It's a lovely color. Like, I would love a Keycult in this color without, I'm gonna be honest, not the shiny bottom. This is the shiny bottom here. The big old stainless bottom. I think this is a PVD. Now, there is a little bit of rippling on this. You guys know me with shiny bottoms. Not a big fan of shiny bottoms. It is, yeah, this is a huge piece of stainless steel. So, price-wise, this is 100% the most expensive one, but very, very pretty, though. Extremely pretty. Dude, I have so many keycaps I want to put on this today. Like, I even think something bright would look super sick on this. I don't think we need to stick to something that matches the case. Okay, I think I have a solder PCB we're going to be using today. Like, do you want this classy or can we make this fun? I'm vibing with this right now. Dude, this looks so good. I like this, as is. I actually really like the way this looks on this board. I think the stone complements the green. All right. So, actually, let's take a look at the board one last time here. Here it is. I think this looks really cool. I love this stone. Man, this in like a sandblasted like steel would have been so nice too. What a great color. T2 switches are a bit scratchy, but apparently still feel smooth. That's like the the tagline of them. It's using a G1 stem material, an N1 top, and a P1 bottom. And then we're using the aluminum plates and a solder PCB. Let's see what this sounds like. And GMK keycaps. Very loud. Holy, compared to the last one we did. I don't hate it. It is extremely loud with these switches. What I would probably do is, I really liked when we did the last Keycult build with the cherry switches. I don't know why. The alphas are... I don't like the alphas much, just because I think these switches aren't really my favorite for alphas. I love this spacebar. I actually think if I had mixed the cherry with this spacebar, that would have been a really fun combo. I don't mind the alphas, though, on their own. Very pleasant spacebar, though. Interesting switches on these. Again, I don't mind them, but yeah, I kind of almost feel the T2 switches are, I think plasticky is a really good way to put it. I've never heard of half of these materials on the T2. Overall, I mean, my thoughts are the same on the Keycult number 2. Love the aesthetic of it. I like the sound of it. I like actually the sound of this more than the 265, oddly enough. Don't love the install of this board. I feel like I've built it enough times now where I kind of get it, but also it's not fun for the first time. I think the stone colorway, albeit expensive, is my favorite colorway that I've seen for a Keycult. I mean, dude, I'm not gonna lie, this is a great colorway in general for any keyboard. But definitely one of the nicest colors I've seen for a Keycult in a long time.